Hey, so today I wanted to talk about something a bit. I don't know. I don't really know what the fuck. Pretty much everything I talk about what the fuck. Like I always say, like oh, random things, right? Like I always say, like oh, I'm going to talk about a random topic, but the reality is the topics. Like I said, I have a list of topics, and sometimes I don't know. It kind of seems like I never use a list. I literally just come up with things from like videos and shit, and the stuff I have on my list I like don't even talk about. And it could be because maybe some of them are just reiterating older videos, and I'm just like, eh. And some of them are like games I haven't played in a while, and I'm like, I actually probably would be shit at explaining it and all that kind of shit. So it's just whatever. But judging by what this one is called, Fear Wins, right? Now that's a title that would make someone be like, oh shit, is this another depressing one? And probably, yeah. I mean, already from the get go, there's already a different vibe to it because I'm immediately just kind of talking in a weird manner and a bit of an over the top manner, and just kind of being fucking stupid and laughing at shit. And it doesn't really seem like it's gonna be that serious, but I'm sure it will be. But what I wanted to really talk about in this, by well, the title of Fear Wins, is one thing I've noticed in my life when I was younger. Like I was like I actually went to a doctor or whatever the fuck diagnoses you with like mental disorders and shit. But when I was younger, I went and I actually was diagnosed with depression and anxiety and ADHD. And yeah, actually, I got diagnosed with ADHD when I was super young, and the depression anxiety one was diagnosed later. But actually I do want to talk about like diagnosis type stuff, but I want to talk like I'm actually planning on doing a video about self-diagnoses and how fucking terrible it is to self-diagnose yourself. But like I have been like actually medically diagnosed, right? But I was also young, right? And while I can easily be like, oh well, I still feel depressed and anxious now, like there's a good chance I could go to a like I could go back and like try and see if like, oh, maybe it's all just bullshit now, and maybe he'd be like, oh yeah, you're not like this anymore, right? So while when I was younger, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, I don't know if it still holds up anymore. As much as people can be like, are you sure? Because, I have meltdown videos, and when I talk about things, I sound anxious and I talk about like the worst case scenarios as if like something's gonna fucking like blow me up. But I don't hold on to those, right? Like I truly believe that you should get diagnosed for that kind of stuff. But that's a video for another time. Okay, I'm gonna talk about that at some point. The whole self-diagnosing being a terrible thing, and that you should actually get real diagnoses. But what I mean by fear wins is when I was younger, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. Now I have not like seen like a medical professional in a long ass time, mostly because money. You kind of need money to see doctors and shit. So like basically if I'm ever in like life threatening uh danger, I kind of just have to die because I don't have enough money to go to a hospital, nor do I have enough money to keep myself alive. And so I'm kind of just gonna have to die. Like if someone shoots me and it like hits like a hits like an artery, I kind of just have to die. But god damn it, I just can't stay on track. But what I mean is when I was younger, my depression was very, very heavy. Like heavy weight. Like my anxiety was nowhere near anything that it is now. If I even still see, that's the thing again, because I have not seen like a medical professional, I refuse to believe that I am most of these things because I just keep thinking to myself like, oh, I haven't seen a medical professional in a while, so maybe it's changed. Maybe I'm not actually like that and it's all in my head. But whatever. The point is, I keep getting distracted because I'm fucking stupid. I can't stay on track. I also slur my words, so people are gonna think I'm fucking drunk. Anyway, the point being is my anxiety, if I still have it and it's not all in my head, is way worse now. When I was younger, my depression was heavy, like heavy, heavy. I didn't want to laugh. I didn't want to smile. I didn't want to show any emotion. If someone was like about to make me laugh, I would hold it. If something made me smile, I frowned as hard as I could. Like my body just like I just didn't want to show any kind of emotion of positivity. I just like was so miserable that I just kind of felt like if I like showed a smile, it would just like I don't know, it'd just make people think that I was like, like, hey, everything's okay with me. Tee hee. Like I don't know, maybe I just wanted people to like, notice that I'm kind of need fucking help and I'm like mentally dying and possibly on the verge of ending it. But unfortunately, no one in my family cared about me. So, I mean, thumbs up, except my cousin. But this is me talking before I was really close to my cousin. So I'm talking about back then when my entire family didn't care about me. And now we're in the future where my family still does not care about me, except for my cousin. And in which case, I don't really. Usually, when I talk about him, I don't talk about him in the sense of family because we kind of see each other as like, you know, really close friends rather than like family. We kind of like cut the cousin tie off and just say that we're like incredibly close friends, right? But my point being is my depression is still kind of heavy, but it's more on and off now. Like now it's like kind of like I'll just like have days where it's like really bad. And then some days I'll be like full of energy, perfectly fine, and then out of nowhere I'll just be like, I don't want to fucking move. And I know people would call that like, oh, manic depression, I think is what that is, where it like flip-flops. But again, I'm not going to say that because I don't know, because I have not seen a medical professional and I do not self-diagnose because I'm not a fucking Twitter user or a TikTok user, I mean. But my anxiety, if, like I said, if it's still there, I keep reiterating that because I'm a fucking moron and I don't want people to think that I'm just throwing labels on myself to make myself seem like, oh, please help me, pity me. Like, no. But whatever is wrong with me, like my paranoia and fear is much stronger than it used to be. And there's plenty of factors that could probably play into this. Like, I think definitely this rise on the internet that happened quite some time ago, where there was like this like influx of like weird like internet challenges that required you to hurt people, or these like women who would go around and like falsely accuse people of shit. And now there's like this new thing on like TikTok where like gym girls are like videotaping themselves working out being really annoying. And then when some guy like looks their way, they try to like demonize him, like he's a rapist, he's gonna do stuff to me, call the cops, rip his dick off, kill him, and they're just like losing their shit. And I don't know, it kind of feels like over my time of seeing people on the internet and realizing just how fucked some people can just be, and realizing there's just some people out there that like if I were to ever run into this person could just take my whole life, and I don't mean just kill me. I mean like there's like people out there that could just completely destroy everything. Like I could like go outside, I can like be like, hey, I'm gonna go, I don't know, walk towards a gas station and get like a soda or something, which I would never fucking do that. If I'm going to a gas station, I'm getting a lot of shit. I'm not just getting a soda. But my point is like I have like this irrational fear because of the internet, especially with the women with false allegation things. That one for some reason really stuck with me, and I think the reason for it was is because people online like take a lot of like a lot of like people's word like on the internet, like whenever like any kind of woman, any kind, I don't know what the fuck that means, when like a woman like posts something that's like they like post a picture of just some dude who's just like eating a fucking Twinkie while walking down the road, and they're like, this man sexually assaulted me, and then that man's like on trial, and then there's like a 75% chance the judge will just simply side against that guy just cuz fuck him. And especially me, like I'm an ugly, disgusting dude. Like the judge could easily look at me and be like, "Oh, he looks like he'd be a sex offender." And it's like, bro, what the fuck? I was just fucking walking down the street with my fat tits jiggling up and down, trying to go get a goddamn soda, and now I'm going to jail for something I never even fucking done. Like, what the fuck? And obviously, that's an irrational fear, right? And I think the internet's weird obsession of like men and women just fucking hating each other left and right to the point where like women are willing to falsely accuse men of horrible things. Well, and let's not act like it's only women, right? Because men do shit too. Men are doing like horrible shit, do horrible shit to women. There are creepy men. We can't pretend like there isn't. Like there's a lot of it, especially on the internet. There is a lot of creepy fucking men. Just like go to any like female Twitch streamer and their chat is full of dudes just talking about how they're getting ready to fucking stroke it to her. But it was an irrational fear, right? It's such a stupid fear because these are just like fucking idiots on the internet just being asshole idiots. And once they like talk about this shit, they immediately get backfire from like the entire internet. But it was a weird fear that just kept sticking with me to a point where I was almost in a way I'm just kind of scared of women. And it's just I'm scared of women because I realize the power they hold to just completely destroy my life if I so much as act a little out of their interest. Like if I so much as look at a woman funny, she has every power to turn me into a like villain by just like snapping a quick photo of me, posting that I was creepy, and boom, I'm public enemy number one. And that's not going to happen. Like none of that shit's going to happen. It's an irrational fear. But I was seeing so much of these like ignorant idiots on the internet either A, making up stories about women doing that, or B, there's actually women that do that, to the point where I kind of gained like a fear of women solely over this inane thing that's never really gonna happen because for some reason somewhere in my brain I was just like my luck is shit and I'm ugly so I'd be an easy target. And I just kept thinking like it could happen, but it's not gonna happen. It's irrational, it's stupid. But I just now have this inane fear of women where I just always feel like if I so much as step out of line, I'm going to jail. And it's like it's such a stupid fear. And it's not just that. It's just like what I mean by like the whole fear wins is like I'm just scared of outside. I'm just scared of going places. I'm scared of people in general. Because like I said many times, I'm the type of person that will constantly say the phrase that I want to die. I like to say, "Oh, I wish I was dead. I wish I could kill myself. I want to die." You know, I say that a lot. But I don't act like I said before. I say that, but I don't want to die. I'm like when people say that they want the part of them that is feeling like this to die. They want their depression side of them to die. That's what people want when they say that. Nobody truly wants to die. People just think that if they die, maybe there's a chance that it will kill that side of them and then they'll get to live but it never really happens. And when I think about like I don't know, I'm just scared about everything, right? And it's kind of just like at this point where like I don't know how to deal with it because like I've been scared of everything and everyone. Like I'm scared that anyone I meet is going to kill me, backstab me, steal from me, send me to jail, set me up, do all sorts of shit. But the reality is I might just walk by someone on the sidewalk and nothing will happen. But I always just think that if I go to a restaurant, this guy who's like sitting in like a booth across from me is just going to pull like a knife out and just start lunging at me for no reason. But like it's not going to happen. And this is what I mean by my like possible anxiety. If like I said, if that's even still a thing and I'm not just fucking having it all in my head, if that is still a thing, I constantly am just scared of everything. I'm scared of going to jail. I'm scared of dying. I'm scared of everything. So I just constantly think that every person out there is a potential enemy, a potential murderer, a potential pretend victim, like all this kind of shit. But on top of that, I'm scared of everything else. Like I'm scared of the idea of getting a job and then getting fired and then having that be on your permanent record and then you can't get another job because you got fired. So it's like, oh no, if I don't do my job right, I get fired and then I can't get other jobs because the other jobs are going to see that I'm fucking inept, but I can't help that I'm inept because I'm a fucking moron. But then I just like, I don't know, there's just, I panic. I panic about everything. And what I mean by fear wins is I just kind of like feel like I have like almost like maybe like a once a week thing where I kind of just look out my window and I kind of just like look at the outside world. I see people walk by, I see cars go by, I see houses where other people live. I can like hear commotions in the distance. I can think about where the stores are and all that kind of shit. And I would just think like, man, it'd be so cool if I just stepped outside of the house, went for a walk, maybe went to a store, maybe I don't know, did something, right? But anytime I ever even think of like touching the doorknob and going out, I'm immediately just paralyzed with this like terror of who knows what the fuck's out there. It could be anything. It could be just a psychopath just standing there, like hiding in a bush, waiting for me specifically for some fucking reason. Like maybe they just seen me peek out my window every once in a while and they were just like, I'm waiting for this motherfucker to come out of his house. I'm gonna fucking kill him. Like, I don't know. That's not going to happen. At least I fucking hope not. But but it's a rational fear, and I can definitely say that I let my fear consume me, but mostly because the thing is, I think fear is one of the hardest things to shake. It's one of those things where, when you're sad, you just get mopey, right? You get mopey, you get down, you just kind of feel like you're not worth it. But the thing about it is there's eventually like little gaps where you can maybe run, right? You can make a break for it. You won't escape it, but you'll at least make some distance. You'll at least cover some ground. But with anxiety, it's just nonstop. You hide yourself in this little bubble that you call your room or your house or whatever, and you just think like, if I step outside of this for 1 second, I'm dead, or I'm going to jail, or something bad's going to happen. If I integrate myself with society, something bad is going to happen. My life is going to collapse. I'm going to die. And it just kind of sucks, cuz I don't know. It just, well, I mean, I always kind of like say I don't know, because it's like like I have the sentence, like I have that first sentence, and it's like I'm trying to like follow it up or something, but then I can't think of something in the moment, and so I say I don't know. But I know what I want to say, but it's kind of like I can't think of like what sentence I'm trying to say, so I say I don't know. It's weird. But it's just like you kind of just want to be a part of society, or even if you're not a part of society, you just kind of want to exist outside of the bubble. But eventually it kind of gets to a point where it stops being a bubble, and it more of just gets reinforced, and it gets worse. Eventually it's cheap plywood, eventually some hardened ass wood, eventually steel, then titanium, and I don't know how much fucking harder anything can get, but eventually your bubble just becomes a prison that you can leave at any time, strangely enough. But it's almost like you don't know why. You don't know why you can't leave it. It's almost like this, you don't know why you can't leave this prison. And I've already heard all the excuses. I've heard every possible like people's excuse on how you can overcome it. Because like I talked about how much I hate when people give that empty advice of, oh well, if you can't make friends, oh, if you're just anxious and shit, just go outside. And it's like, it's not that simple. I've already talked about that. I hate when people give that empty ass advice. But I think it's just hard to go out when you don't really have a reason to, or it's hard to go anywhere or just do anything when it kind of just feels like there's no goal. And maybe that's just me, because I know some people can just go outside, walk around just because they want to smell the fresh air, they want to see the people, they want to see the town. But for me, I feel like if I do stuff, I need an end goal, right? And not just saying like, oh, walking 1,000 steps, that's my end goal, or oh, make it to the store, that's my end goal. Like something with meaning, like some reason to do something, some reason to go somewhere. Like the destination I'm heading is a place where I will stick for a while, that has some meaning, some purpose. But at the end of the day, if I go to a fucking store, the only purpose I'm doing is to buy something, or maybe even just look around, which isn't much of a goal to motivate me or even make me want to push through my fears to do something. And I've already heard the excuses of people saying to take some medication, seek therapy. I Look, not everything works for everyone. Some people just don't react to medicine. Some people don't have good experiences with therapy. I can definitely say that I've had to deal with about 4 or 5 different therapists. 2 of them gave up on me, and the other 3 didn't do shit. All they basically did was just tell me just say how I feel, and then they would just sit there and write for like 2 hours straight, and then they'd tell me to leave. And like I said, I've tried medicine. Medicine does not make it better. Medicine does not fix it. Medicine does not even dull it. Like, whenever I had to take depression medication, it made it worse. I had never felt so fucking horrible in my life. And then their idea of how to make it better was, well, take more. Made me feel worse. Then they were like, oh, we need better medicine. Take a lot of this better medicine. And then it made me feel worse. It made me more paranoid. It made me more depressed. It made me want to die. And therapy is a kind of a scam. It's just a bunch of fucking people who like work their asses off in college for like in like medical shit. They had to like stay in college extra time just so they can be told that your job is to sit there with a clipboard, ask how they're doing, and then never talk to them again, and then tell them, okay, so we're gonna prescribe you medicine, and then they kick you out. Like that shit's just stupid. But what I mean, or well, what I've been saying is, fear's a bitch. Fear is the probably the most hellish emotion humanly possible, because sadness, anger, happiness, whatever emotion, like none of those hold a fucking candle to fear. Because like I know people can be like, oh well, sadness can be bad because it can lead to you ending your own life, but fear makes you suffer more than you could ever possibly imagine, while also keeping you alive so that you can't escape. You can't run out of your house to quell your fear, but you can't end your life because you're scared of what's on the other side. So you stay alive and you suffer and you rot every day until you die of possible old age. And I know that's like a shitty thing to say, to be like, well, if you're sad and someone kills themselves, that's at least escaping the pain. It's a shitty thing to say. I understand that. But fear is awful. Fear is paralyzing. And for me, unfortunately, my fear does not get stopped by medicine or therapy. And I honestly just kind of realize at this point the only times I ever leave my house is when I've had someone that I've trusted with me, and that's only one person. And I just have no other reason to leave my house. I just constantly think that everything bad's going to happen. And that's also one of the reasons I never made friends, is because I just did not trust people. I was scared of every person I ever met. Trying to talk to a woman, oh, fuck that. I was scared she was going to call the cops on me. Oh, I wanted to talk to some guy, oh, I was afraid he's going to pull a knife and just stab me to death. It's irrational. A lot of the fears are irrational. But it's a bit different when your fear is something minuscule to something major. Because when you're just a little scared of the outside world, you can find some sense of purpose to push yourself forward. But when your anxiety and fear are absolute maximum, you just can't really think of how to go do anything. You just kind of expect that every step you take outside can be your exact last. That you're gonna take a step and you're gonna trip, break your neck. You're gonna go for a walk, someone's gonna shoot you. A drive-by is gonna happen. You're gonna get gunned down for no reason, all because maybe you looked like someone they wanted to take out, or maybe they just didn't like you because they just didn't like something about you. The fact that I could walk by someone and then they could just like throw themselves to the ground and be like, oh, this guy assaulted me. And then I go to jail for it because they now have like bruises from falling on the ground to basically be their proof that I hit them. You know, it's all irrational. None of that's going to happen. But you can't, there's no way to rationalize it. There's no way to like beat it out of your own fucking skull. It's just a permanent fixture that kind of just permeates every little crevice of your fucking deranged brain. And it's kind of just a poison, right? It's kind of just like one of those things where you look outside and you kind of think to yourself like, no, why does this prison contain me? But the door is wide fucking open. It's like those dogs that get put in cages and then someone opens the cage, but then the dog's like staring at like the side of the cage, or it has like its back to the door. And so it's like looking at you with puppy dog eyes, just like almost like whimpering so that you can let it out of the cage. But the cage door is open, but it's facing the wrong way, so it doesn't know that it can just get out of the cage. That's kind of how this is. It's like the door is open and I constantly have my back to it because why? I don't know. Maybe I'm scared that door leads to an all new hell that I can never imagine. Or maybe I'm just a complete fucking moron and I don't know what's open. I don't know. But the reality, well, the fact that I'm talking about would probably mean that I know about it. But but I always kind of just think about it. I always kind of think about how when I was younger, it never felt like I had. Well, they told me I had anxiety. I never felt like it was very anything. It kind of just felt like my depression took like center stage, and my anxiety was kind of just like a thing where I kind of thought about it, and I was like, I don't really feel like I have anxiety. Like I don't really like my depression is fucking heavy, but like my anxiety doesn't feel like shit. But then as I got older, my depression became like more on and off, and my anxiety became a permanence, and it became my worst thing. And yeah, obviously people can be like, oh, that's an excuse. You know, that's just an excuse to continue living the way you do. And yeah, it is an excuse. It's an excuse that is also fucking real, unfortunately. But I mean, whatever. I don't know. I don't like I said, I don't really know what the hell this was supposed to be. I don't really know where this is going. It was kind of just me talking about this idea of like fear being just too strong, being this emotion that almost trumps all other emotions in a way. You know what I mean? Like it feels like none of the emotions ever truly come close. Sometimes, like I don't know, and maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me because my fear has beaten out all the other emotions I've ever felt in my life. And maybe for someone else, they're like, oh, well, fear's not that big for me. And, you know, okay. Like, but for me personally, I think fear has been the most nightmarish emotion I could possibly feel. Because for some reason, I never thought when I was younger that I could be so scared of being alive that I would cease to actually be alive. And what I mean by that is I never thought when I was younger that I'd be so scared of the entirety of the world that I would almost become an invisible entity that no human being knows even exists. And some people probably have never seen me. I'm basically like a fucking cryptid. I'm basically if fucking Bigfoot started a YouTube channel and everyone's just like, well, where the fuck is Bigfoot? And he's just making a video like, hey, so I ate some berries today and it's pretty fucking cool. And people are like, where the fuck is he? That's kind of how I am. I'm literally just Bigfoot. I sit in whatever fucking dank ass cave. I sit there. Look at the floor. I eat something, and then I sit there. And then people are like, and then there's those people. They're just like, I swear I saw something. I swear I saw something walking around a store one time alongside someone, but suddenly I just don't know where this thing went. It's gone. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know. This is me kind of ranting about, I don't know, fear. So yeah, I don't really know. Whatever.